Small town. Damn, that's you strictly. Small town. Damn, that's you strictly.
Ladies and gentlemen, this just in. The World Series stage is set between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Jerry Jones could be taking shots at McCarthy. Ed Reed crashed out over the Guardian cap on a live broadcast, and we are back to give you the real in sports. I'm your co-host, Small Town EP. They are Wade Julian live from New York City, Big Kev Shawty live from South Florida, and you are tuned in to your number one sports talk show, All Things Sports, brought to you by Small Town Productions. Ticker up top. Brought to you by ESPN Bet. Gentlemen, it is great to be back. I know I had to miss the last pod, some personal reasons. Takes care of some, take care of things at the house, but I'm back. We back. NBA opening week is in full effect. It's good to see you two. Let's get right into it. Late night last night, we saw Bronny and Bron debut. Head to the scores table together with about 3 minutes left in the second quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Monumental. But Bron had some, quick words of encouragement and validation right before they went to the table. Bronny looked like he was dialed in and focused. Didn't go as planned. I mean, 3 minutes, it's beautiful. You were 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 1 from beyond the arc, but you played hard. You were dialed in. You played with intensity and carefree like your father expressed to you. June, how much did you enjoy seeing that moment last night?
It was a lot, man. A big moment. Just first of all, experiencing something you've never experienced before is always going to be, like there's always going to be something to it. And when it's a positive thing, why wouldn't you feel nothing but, like happiness and respect for the James family? This is a family that I say we as like the 29, 25, 32 year olds who, and older, we've grown up watching this guy and his family. And we've literally seen his family grow before our eyes to the point where now he's checking in an NBA game with his son. Whether his son plays 48 minutes, whether his son goes to the G League for more development, whatever the case is, the moment that was shared for 3 minutes on the court is something that we probably won't ever see again. Might. So I think that it's just pretty important to me to take note of that and appreciate it while it's here. For those who wanted to get on radio this morning or like Mad Dog on First Take and just like, oh, I don't get it. I don't think anybody cares about this. I don't know why everybody, I understand that there's TV, there's a show that, you're supposed to say something, EP. I'm supposed to probably disagree to make, things sound a little hot. I don't think there's anything to disagree on. I mean, Bronny James is an NBA player right now, and however you feel he got to that point, he is at that point right now, and he made his mark by being the first child of a kid to play with his father at the same time. Give it up. And now JJ Redick, as a first year head coach, got the moment in and out. And now he can focus on how he feels like he thinks the Lakers should develop Bronny James into a great basketball player and how he thinks he can win a championship with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and those guys over there. So I think it was a great moment and an amazing thing for sports in general. Something we haven't seen since Ken Griffey Jr. and his pops in baseball. So what is there to hate on?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Griffey because I saw some people saying how, oh, it's not the same as Ken Griffey Jr. and his dad. And I don't think the Seattle Mariners are making a trade midseason for Ken Griffey Sr., who's hitting 206 at 40 years old, unless Ken Griffey Jr. is on that team. So it's pretty much exactly the same situation, just in the reverse. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking for a reason to hate on it, it's because you feel a way about LeBron. The moment itself was cool. I think if Steph was doing it with his son, or Chris Paul was doing it with, or maybe not Chris Paul. A lot of people don't like Chris Paul, but you know what I mean. Like
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
some if there's a fan
Derrick
favorite out
Rose.
there who's doing it with their son, I think the situation is looked at differently. But because it's LeBron, there's always going to be people who hate on it and have something to say. But I think I tweeted it last night. Aside from your feelings for LeBron, this is a cool moment. Like as a father, a father who has excelled in their profession and has given their all to this sport, to see your son not only make it to the highest level of that competition but play on your team and alongside you. Like I can't imagine the feeling. Like it's got to be one of the greatest feelings. That he said it last night, like this is one of the greatest gifts that God has given me. So
Yeah.
um got to be a great feeling for him. And congratulations to the James family on accomplishing that. And I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool that we got to witness that from a guy who we watched debut 22 years ago to today. He's still playing at a high level, and now his son is also playing on the court with him.
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely a beautiful thing. I love like all of the sound bites, like I was mentioning, that we got for it, the moments that we got from it. After the game, seeing Savannah waiting for Bronny and Bron and hugging Bronny first and giving him a big embrace, and probably so proud of you type of stuff. And then Bron's
Right.
like, hey, I'm a little, I did a little more work than him, so
Right.
you
Right.
can't
Right.
really
Right. Right.
give me the same embrace that you gave him. I thought that was beautiful. I know I mentioned to you guys earlier, pre-show anyway, that I really enjoyed. Outside of that moment, I really enjoyed watching JJ Redick coach last night, on opening night for the NBA. He looked dialed in, like I was saying. He looked calm when he needed to be. He was fired up. I read some lips. He was cursing on the bench here and there, and he seems to have the lineup that he wants to put out, or knows how to work, the rotations that he has, right? June, Kev, well, I guess I'll go to Kev first. Kev, how cool was it to see JJ Redick and him pretty much make these all-star players, I would say, or, role players look like all-stars in this first game?
Yeah, I mean it's game one of an 82 game season, right? And it's home week day one of the season. You're playing at home. You're gonna have you got two of the NBA's best players on the floor. So there's gonna be that. But so that being said, like I don't want to get off to such an early assessment of that team, but for one game they look great, and I think JJ Redick looked great coaching the team. I said, before they were talking about hiring him, when I brought it up and thought, that could be a fit, just because you've got LeBron sitting there talking basketball with JJ every week, and you can see the disconnect between LeBron and Darvin Ham. It's like you want a guy that you can connect with basketball minds wise. You're already doing it with him. Like, why not bring him in, have him be the head coach? And I know that's
Yeah.
not a LeBron decision, but I think the Lakers front office did a good job connecting those dots and kind of making that happen. And I think he's a guy who, while he hasn't proven himself yet as a head coach, he has the track record of being able to command enough respect from the guys who are in the locker room, especially some of the younger players who maybe didn't see him hoop but heard him talk about basketball. So I think even as we get going forward, I think the Lakers are gonna return to being a destination for people to want to go play at, and I think JJ Redick is gonna be a big part of that. So I'm excited to see him as he advances in his career, and I thought it was a great night one for them.
Definitely, man. EP and I, we both share a similar sentiment as far as how we feel about JJ Redick, the player. I got to, I guess, know him more as a man through watching him on ESPN, right, and giving his analysis and also doing the podcast with LeBron. And I say that because I think through sports talk radio and things like that, and like media in general, everybody who's in media, you can we don't know each other, we don't know each other personally, but you can gauge, I guess, what kind of a man is behind the microphone in certain circumstances. And I think JJ Redick has always proved himself to be a man of integrity, a man of respect, and someone who also, like Kev said, has earned respect of former coaches and teammates. He wouldn't be the Lakers head coach if he didn't deserve at least a little bit of it. So this is not a Bronny James situation just because LeBron wants him to be the coach. Like, first of all, if LeBron wants you to be the head coach of your team, I think that should say a lot right there. Because
Absolutely.
one, LeBron James doesn't even like a lot of guys that are his coach, or like that were put in place to be his coach. He's always had to go get the next one, and this looks like he got the first one. So just, man, major shout out to JJ Redick. As Kev said, we're not going to do a big evaluation on last night's game and how the Lakers look and lineups. Um, but he did look comfortable. He did look like he's been here before. And the cool part about JJ Redick is that he's still young and he understands basketball so well. So, like, having a fresh mind who also understands the game as a Greg Popovich does, And I don't think that's any slight or crazy to say that JJ Redick, knows the game almost as well as a Greg Popovich. Yeah, Greg has the years on him, but JJ Redick is a basketball maniac. He's sick, in the head when it comes to talking basketball and knowing the game. So, um, yeah, man, what a moment! I think that he's gonna be, like I said on Monday, I think he's going to be the next Lakers head coach for a long time. And so
Yeah.
this looks like to be the first one of many. And I mean, look how AD played, right? If he can go like that all season, that's a whole different Lakers team. So yeah, it was a cool moment.
By the way, we didn't even mention, like you were saying, we're not going to give a deep analysis on the game, but I didn't even mention Lakers did win the game 110-103. The Minnesota Timberwolves were down by as many as 19 in the second quarter. There's a clip of Ant-Man going to the hole and getting the bucket in the and one and telling his team to wake up. Kev, was just a simple, butterflies first day of opening of the season and catching the Timberwolves sleeping?
I think Timberwolves are gonna. I mean, they had a major shift in their roster in the offseason. Not even in the offseason, a couple weeks before the season started. So that's going to take some getting used to. You could see Julius Randle didn't really look comfortable to take some of the shots that I think he's used to taking. Like he passed up on some open looks, and I feel like there's even a contested look is a look that Julius Randle likes. So to see him kind of pass up and be hesitant on offense, I think that's something that's going to change as we go forward. I think people are just learning their roles. DiVincenzo off the bench is going to have to try to fit in with Nas Reed and the season that he had last year. So they have the pieces to be a really good team. I just think they're going to need some time to gel. Ant is also ascending, just like it's we've watched him like before our eyes literally just shoot into the stratosphere of top 5 NBA player in the league. And so I think all that combined, Ant trying to maybe balance that, like I'm this good, but where can I get my other teammates involved as well? And Julius Randle being the main part of the people who he has to involve uh and get going so that that can be a really good team. But I think that combined with just LA at home, emotional night with LeBron, Rui Hachimura looking like an elite role player last night, uh, looking like he could be like the third option on that team if he really wanted to. That second play of the game where he just drove baseline and dunked it on Gobert,
Whew,
that was
nasty dunk.
impressive. And I
Nasty
was like,
work.
who is this? Who threw on Rui Hachimura's jersey tonight? Uh, but yeah, so I think all that combined, Minnesota will be fine. They'll find their balance and they'll find their way along the road as the season progresses, I think.
Hey, that boy Don Connect looked good last night too. He was he running the floor, running his lanes, knew where to be at the right time. Boy's a hustler. Man's a hustler. LeBron did win for the first
Do,
time on opening
do
day.
you think that JJ Redick looks at him and says, he can be me?
No,
No,
he does not
absolutely
shoot the
not.
ball nearly as well as JJ Redick once
I,
did, and I don't think he's.
but like as far as just like
I get it. I know.
understanding the game and being a
I
smart
think,
player.
but I also think that Dalton Connect is way more athletic, and you can use him in
Mhm.
way more scenarios. So he probably looks at him like, shit, this is me with a little less of a shot, but if I had that explosiveness,
Kick and hoop, kick and hoop. His IQ, I think, is a little beyond where it should be right now, which is obviously a great thing. Like I was saying, LeBron does win for the first time on opening night in his Lakers tenure, and I want to move it to the other coast. Banner night in Boston went pretty much as you would expect. Jumped out to a 19-point lead after the first quarter, scoring 43 points. The Boston Celtics to New York's 24 points. They absolutely stomped. Shout out to Ali, curb stomped the Knicks last night. June, did they just literally pick up where they left off? Can anyone in the NBA beat the Celtics?
yes, to answer your question, yes, yes, yes. A lot of teams in this league can beat the Celtics. I
Not the
think
Knicks,
this game.
though.
Yeah, right. I think this game goes to speak to Kev's point as far as New York and Minnesota making that trade just weeks before the season started, and guys being a little out of whack or uncomfortable in their roles, and they just haven't found that mesh yet, that gel. And the Knicks are going to be fine, right? They have Karl Anthony Towns now. They have Jalen Brunson, best point guard in the East, and the Mikal Bridges thing with the jump shot. We'll have more conversation on that as the season goes because I truly, truly don't understand the science behind changing your jump shot. But if it's working and you're shooting 37%, but they're just deep. They do have OG Anunoby over there. Losing DiVincenzo, I think, hurts as far as like having that backcourt defender. But like I said, they have Mikal and OG. They can always just alternate. So they'll be fine. But with the Celtics, man, it was a great shooting night until it wasn't. I mean, they missed their last like 13 3-pointers trying to break a record, and that to me just sums up who the Celtics are. But I want to give them credit. They did raise their banner yesterday. Strix, I'm sure he was watching that. Shout out to him. Jason Tatum goes off for 37 points and looks like he has a point to prove this season. I don't know if that's to NBA Twitter or Steve Kerr, but he's got blood on his hands right now. And for the first week and a half, if you play Jason Tatum, I think you're going to get the best basketball out of him. Shout out to the Celtics. It's going to be a long season, but I do expect that they continue the trend of looking like the best team in the league. As I look around and as I asked Kev and Ali on Monday who they think would win the finals, I didn't want to say it. I wasn't going to say it, and I'm still not going to. If you catch my drift, you catch my drift. I picked Minnesota for a fun answer, but this team looks like, hey, it's possible. I just know what they're about when it comes to, when push comes to shove. That's why I won't say it. But yeah, they're totally going to be the greatest team in the East this season. And shout out to the Knicks, man. The Knicks will figure it out, right? I think that Tibbs is going to have to grow a little this season with the team if he wants to, secure that 1 or 2 spot and eventually see an Eastern Conference Finals.
Uh, okay, we all know I'm the biggest Knicks hater in the world. First heartbreak ever in sports was Allen Houston ball bouncing on the rim 19,000 times before it goes in, with no time left for the Heat to do anything. So that's why I hate the Knicks and will always hate the Knicks. But when I have to keep it real, I keep it real. Something's wrong with the Knicks. That is not the same team that they were last year. I really think, like I honestly think the DiVincenzo thing messed, like they go into this preseason thinking the Nova Knicks, where these Avengers we've assembled from Villanova all played together. The vibes were immaculate. It got a wrench thrown in real quick,
Nah,
and
that's a fact.
they didn't even get to play one game together. and you saw DiVincenzo and Jalen Brunson and Rick Brunson at the end of that game. I know people want to say it's nothing. Something was there. Like there was
So
something.
my thing is, Kev, it's not nothing, but this is basketball. This is professional basketball, and I'm not saying you're defending this, but I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you
Yeah.
guys had a wrench thrown at you. I don't care if you had an
Oh,
apple thrown
100%.
at you. My
I'm not
thing is,
making I'm not
no,
making
I
excuses
understand
for
that.
it.
I understand that. But my thing is, regardless of what the situation was, your team got better. Figure it out. That's it. That's it. Figure it out. I don't care if there was a chemistry that was a bond was broken. It don't matter. We're not chasing friendships. We're chasing championships. And if any, and I haven't heard this yet, but if anybody wants to make the excuse of lack of chemistry or they traded away, we're not talking about Dante DiVincenzo being traded away in a Julius Randle highlighted package. So to me, miss me with all that. The Knicks, they better figure some shit out and figure it out quick. And that's why I said I think Tibbs is going to have to grow with them this season.
And it's no excuses for them, but I'm saying that is what I think watching them last night. They came out
Yeah,
flat.
yeah,
They came out looking
absolutely.
flat, and
Absolutely.
it looks like it's gonna have to be the Jalen Brunson show again for them to even be a decent team.
And to
And it
that,
can't be that for 82 games. So
yeah, to
I don't know. I watched that game last night, and as good as the Celtics looked, the Knicks outside of Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride looked awful. Like, and Towns didn't have Towns, same thing. He's gonna have to figure out where he fits in and how to get his buckets with a shot dominant guard like Brunson. But I mean, they just don't like he doesn't fit that identity of the team to me. Like
yeah, I
Julius
didn't
Randle
see
and
the pick and roll
DiVincenzo,
really.
D- Randall and DiVincenzo are tough, gritty guys who I think fit that mold of what the Knicks were trying to be. And I don't think Towns does. Like, I don't think Towns fits that like tough, gritty, get it out of the mud type role. And I could be wrong, but I've never seen that from him.
No, you've never seen it. You can't act like he is. We didn't see that from Carl Anthony Towns at Kentucky. We didn't see it from him in Minnesota. That's not who he is as a player. And so, to your point, yeah, did it mess shit up? I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Did they acquire more talent from the trade? 100%. So at this point, who cares about how y'all feel about each other? Who cares about, who's more gritty? No, you're a perennial all-star 7 foot shooting, rim protecting big. Figure it out, bro. As far as I just wanted to, before we switched over to this game, with the Minnesota game, Rui Hachimura says, yeah, man. I mean, coach, we pointed out the fact that sometimes he likes to just kind of stand around and be a little stagnant. And so we wanted to attack that. And that's who Julius Randle is as a player. So the Knicks, as much as they did get rid of a gritty guy, as much as they got rid of a guy who gets it out the mud and fits their scheme, they also got rid of a guy that, first of all, wasn't even there for the most of their success toward the end of the season in the playoffs. And second of all, is lazy.
Oh,
So
but
I don't
you look
think
at
I don't
you also look at who the Celtics attacked on those first several plays of the game, and it was Towns. So it's not like you're missing much.
and that was without KP, right?
There it is. And I want to kick it over to the chat real quick. Shout out to Ray Cam in there, Breeze in there. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. We're going to kick it off or move over to tonight's NBA slate, starting with the Orlando Magic traveling to downtown Miami to play the Miami Heat. The Heat on their home opener, 2.5 point favorites, kicking off the first of 4 meetings this season between the Sunshine State rivalry. Kev, is 2.5 points not enough for you guys?
I mean, if this was like mid-season, I would say it's probably a little iffy. I think the Heat on opening night at home are always good. I think they're coming out with a lot of energy tonight. I think it's going to be a double-digit win for the Heat tonight. But they're playing a good Magic team. Like this is not a bad team by any means. It's not an easy run through of the Orlando Magic that we're used to. But I do think opening night in Miami, uh, new Pat Riley's court will be honored tonight as they are naming the court after him.
Wow.
So uh, you know, I think the vibes will be immaculate, and I think Miami will come out on top by double digits tonight.
Ooh, double
Yeah.
digits, not enough points. The Heat last year shot 46.5% from the field and 37% from three, June. How do they sustain that and maybe, bring those numbers up a little bit?
Tyler Hero being a catch and shoot guy, like he said, I was in my feelings last year about being a catch and shoot guy. I didn't realize how good I was. So stay healthy and shoot the ball. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. I mean, shooting is a rhythm thing. It takes time. You're not going to be the Celtics. Not everybody going to be the Celtics on opening night, right? And you might look like the Knicks on opening night. That's why there's 82 of these things. So just make sure that before it gets to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you figure something out. I wanted to real quick go to the chat. Shout out to Ray. Shout out to Breeze H2O. He's water to you. I don't get it, but I want to laugh with you. And he said y'all usually wrong on the basketball shit, which is funny. But call us out. Let us know what you think, man. And we also gonna get you up here one day so we can really, really have a conversation. But
Who said that we were wrong on the basketball shit?
Breeze,
Oh, Knicks fan.
Breeze,
Yeah.
Knicks fan, right.
Okay.
So,
I'd
so
listen. I'd be hurt too. I'd be hurt too if I was him right now. But like,
hey,
I'm just calling it how I see it.
hey. So as Kev said, we are typically really good on opening night, and we always play the Magic on opening night. But this ain't the same Magic that we typically play on opening night. So I disagree with that 2.5. I think this is going to be a close game. We typically come out shooting well, and there's a lot of energy. I agree. For some odd reason, I just think that Paulo Banchero is him. Jalen Suggs is coming off of that new contract. I'm sure he has all the confidence in the world. With all that being said, I mean, Bam Adebayo, who's going to stop him down there? It's going to be a tough way for them tonight, the Magic. And Jimmy Butler is on a mission this season. So with all that coming together, we get Terry Rozier back in the lineup. We're finally going to see what him and Tyler Hero can do. I'm expecting the Heat to possibly win by double digits, but definitely secure a win in a non worrisome way toward the end of the game. EP, real quick before Kev says this, I want to say I don't want to hear we're gonna call it AAA. We're gonna call it AAA. I always call it's not AAA no more. It is the Pat Riley Court at Kaseya Center. Okay, Pat Riley Court for short. If you want to do that, we cool. But it ain't AAA. AAA is gone. It's gone. It was cool. It was cute. But
I'll
it's the
call it Pat
Riley.
Riley. I'll call it Pat Riley Court. I ain't gonna stoop down to Casilla
Fair enough.
Center.
Fair enough.
I was just gonna say we also get to see this new version of Bam tonight, where he's shooting threes and how that could possibly help the offense. Because as good of a passer he is, if he takes that next step and he just shoots 35% from three, he doesn't even need to be a 40% elite 3-point shooter. Just be good enough for them to respect you, and I think a lot of things open up for that offense.
Wendell Carter just signed a 3-year, $59 million extension that puts him with the Magic throughout the 2028-29 season. He's gonna have to put that money up tonight because Bam always give him a lot of trouble.
I want to take it over to Philly in what I'm going to call the injury game for opening day, as the Sixers and the Milwaukee Bucks are set to face off. The Sixers, Paul George and Jared McCain are day to day. Chris Middleton's day to day. We've obviously been hearing the I'm not going back to back. The man is doing put back dunks in the playoffs while he's injured. Can't put his jersey back on for a back to back. But I'll digress. June, what are you expecting out of this game in which Milwaukee is favored by 3.5 points on the road?
Well, don't digress. I mean, we could talk about it. Even the NBA is not going to digress as they open an investigation on the Sixers for Joel Embiid's comments saying he is not going to play any back-to-backs. I don't know that that's doctor's recommendation. I don't know if that's preference. But if that was my player on my team and he told me that he would not play back-to-back for my team, I would look for the best suitor and the best player available for you. But he's not on the Heat. It's not my team. I think we're going to see a lot of rusty basketball. Like last night, we saw 2 blowouts essentially, where the Timberwolves finally fought back late in the third or early in the fourth and brought it to like a 4-point game from a 19-point deficit. But it was never a game early, and it was never a game in Boston. So it's just like I think we're going to get a couple of these blowouts tonight. We do call it the National Blowout Association. And so I'm at a point with basketball where I just want that competitive spirit to to boost a little bit. I mean, Anthony Edwards, I give him a lot of credit, and he's one of my favorite players because you always see him competing. You never see him take a playoff. He's cut from that Westbrook cloth, talking shit, trying to do anything to get guys riled up around him, whether they're on his team or the opponent, to make his day a little tougher. So he has to go harder. I would like to see that competitive edge go up around the league. I think it's a little too glitzy, glamoury. Who got the best outfit tonight? I don't want to hear all that. I just want to see some good basketball. And frankly, I think we're going to get a couple blowouts tonight, with this game probably being one in favor of the Bucks.
That was a crazy subtle shot that you just took at Jared McCain, but I do
Mhm.
agree with you.
That's hilarious. I shout out to my boy. That was not for him. You was messy for that.
But yeah, I expect Milwaukee to run away. I mean, I know Giannis is a game time decision. Like this is just Philly. Like I said it when the report came out yesterday. I sent it in the group chat and I said it's officially basketball season because Paul George and Joel Embiid ruled out for the opening game. So uh that's usually you can expect for one of them. I don't know how many games they're gonna play together. That's what I'm questioning. Like how many games are they actually gonna be on the court together by the time we get to playoff season? And is it gonna matter at that point? But we can probably expect Tyrese Maxey to score half of Philly's points tonight. And yeah, he'll have a field day, I'm sure. And maybe Caleb Martin will pitch in, but we'll see.
You muted up, my boy. It's all good.
Damn, I was doing so good at it.
You're doing
They,
so good.
I was. They averaged, they being the 76ers, if I'm not mistaken, about 24.9 assists per game last year. We'll see if they can keep that up. Let's take it over to LA, where the Clippers will debut the Intuit Dome, the arena that apparently statistically has the most bathrooms. I don't know, fun fact if anyone wants to know that, but the owner said, "Hey, we got the most bathrooms." People
Steve
might not.
Ballmer said, "I could shit all day."
We might not have fans coming to the game, but we might have fans coming to the bathroom. But I digress. The Phoenix Suns do open up as 5.5-point favorites on the road in the Intuit Dome's debut. Ooh, the Suns did allow 113.2 points per game to their opponents last season, allowed opponents to shoot 46.4% from the field last season.
They also allowed Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker to play whenever they wanted to.
Yeah,
So
that's a
I'm
fact.
interested to see what the injury report for this game looks like.
Kev, is this a new team, new logo, new stadium, new Clippers come out with the dub tonight? Or is this going to be a blowout like one of those balls like June was talking about?
I have a
Mind you,
feeling.
it's the same old Kawhi.
Yeah, well, same old Kawhi, who's also not playing tonight.
Right.
So I'm expecting Phoenix to run away with it. And much like Tyrese Maxey will probably score a ton of Phillies points, James Harden will probably score. Well, I don't even know. I don't even know what James Harden does anymore. If he's a scorer, passer, somewhere in the middle. He does score when he needs to, it seems, but you really never know with him what you're gonna get. So I'm sure we'll see. Uh, I don't know what version of James Harden we see tonight, but uh, I'm sure if the Clippers do win, he will be the reason. So uh, we may see a vintage James Harden performance. I don't expect as much. I think the Suns under Coach Budenholzer, first game, I think they will come away with a victory.
Yeah, I think the Suns right now, just as Kawhi out versus a team like Phoenix with the versatility in their lineup, it's just tough. It's not impossible. I think the energy is going to be there for the Clippers to be able to make a run at a win. Um, you know, I just look at this lineup, man, and it's just like James Harden, Powell, Terrence Mann, Zubac, and who's going to fill in for Kawhi? Is it Derrick Jones? Is it Nick Batum?
It's
Kai
kind of
Jones?
like you look at their roster and it's kind of crazy. They have a bunch of guys who are super talented that organizations, like young guys that are talented, that organizations have already given up on for one reason or another. You got Kevin Porter Jr., Bones Highland, Kai Jones. Like they look like they're just building the team of like
Yeah.
young, good players who were rejected by other teams for off the court reasons where
Yeah, I was
men.
gonna say at least we can say we know a little bit why these guys were kind of giving up on. It's not like and I do want to be clear. Bones Highland, I don't know of any off the court issues with him. To me, I think his fit in Denver just didn't work, and he was more of a developmental thing. And they're in a championship stage. Wasn't really time for him to play. Um, but he has an opportunity here in LA to learn from Kevin Porter, to learn from James Harden, and guys like that. So when this team is finally back, I guess Kawhi gets back. I think that they're going to compete. They're going to be fun. They shoot the ball well. They have a lot of ball handlers. They have an two athletic bigs who can run up and down the floor, block shots, and finish in the paint. But to me, like James Harden, you understand Kawhi Leonard, in his injury history, you're going to have to hold it down while he's out as far as production on the court and as far as staying healthy for your team to be able to produce while Kawhi is away. So I got the Suns in this one. No Kawhi, too easy for the Suns. Give me a big 30-point KD game, and he starts off his 30-point uh 30-point games, tonight.
So what you're saying, June, is KD's line for points being at 24 and a half. It's a good look. Oh, raise it up. He said take the plus money. I love to hear it. The last NBA matchup I want to talk about this evening. We'll head over to Utah. And before I get to the matchup tonight, the Utah Hockey Club started out the season 3-0, winning at the Delta Center. Now we got Memphis coming on the road to Utah, minus 2.5 favorites at the Delta Center, who actually just saw a loss last night as the Utah Hockey Club lost 4-0 to the Ottawa Senators. Kev, is it a back-to-back loss night in Utah?
I mean, yeah, at this point, the Utah Hockey Club is Utah's best shot at anything in the near future. So, uh, I love. I know we don't do much hockey, but I love seeing like the expansion teams' early success. We saw with Vegas, and now we're seeing it with Utah. So I think they're doing expansion really well in the
Yeah,
NHL.
they are. They are.
Kev muted. Kev, you muted yourself.
I did mute myself. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I do think Memphis is going to be. I think we talked about it. Like, I don't think they're a 50-win team. I do think they're a playoff, play-in type team this year. But I don't think Utah's anything close to them. So I think Memphis 2.5 is very generous for Utah. So something that I'd probably look at taking Memphis towards.
June, you got any final thoughts on this
I was
matchup?
gonna say, I'm just excited for Ja Morant, bro. Like we get Ja Morant back in this league, and again and again and again, I'm gonna tell y'all, a lot of people forgot what he does for that team. A lot of people forgot what he has done, and are not uh acting like they're expecting him to just continue and do what he did for them. I asked Ali and Kev on Monday, is Memphis a 50-win team with Ja back? I do think they are. I just think Ja puts them in a whole nother echelon because that's how good of a player he is. Anthony Edwards came in this league and took the league by storm, rightfully so, and he became a fan favorite. And I'm not saying this to like, this is just, you see the ascension of how his fandom started, right? Like everybody loves Anthony Edwards now, and I'm top of that train. But Ja Morant had that same pull, if not more gravitational pull from the crowd and from the fans, which he tarnished, and lost a lot of fans, and is on, I guess, thin ice, buddy, with some other fans due to the controversial, idiotic suspension he dealt with multiple times. But as a basketball player and impact wise, what he does for that organization, that city, man, I think it's, you argue that it's second to none because you take him off Memphis, and I mean, magically everybody was hurt all season last year. What does that Memphis team do without Ja Morant? They look like the laughing stock of the league at one point last year. They had guys from the G League, in their lineup, and so for them to be that last year and then make the playoffs as like a 6 seed, 5 seed this year, that would be uber impressive. And I think it's possible.
I'm excited to watch this game as well. I mentioned to you guys the other day, I'm excited to see this John Moran Zach Edey combo and see how that turns out. Zach Edey was a dominant force in college, and I do think that it will translate very well to the NBA court. All right, gentlemen, let's take it over to the NFL. Woke up this morning, and as a Chiefs fan, Christmas came early. DeAndre Hopkins is officially a Kansas City Chief. I've been calling for this man for latter part of about a year and a half now. Now he's coming over to KC for a conditional fourth round pick, which is essentially a fifth round pick that turns into a fourth round pick on certain conditions. And when I read you these conditions, you'll probably say it's a fourth round pick. Tennessee will pay roughly, I think, half of Hopkins' remaining salary, and they are paying him $2.5 million to finalize the deal. Those conditions that turn this into a fourth round pick are Kansas City reaches the Super Bowl this year, and Hopkins plays 60% of his snaps as a Chief. Kev, before I get to June, Kev, how impactful is this trade? How much does this open up the field for Patrick Mahomes and that wide receiving core?
I mean, it depends on the DeAndre Hopkins that you get. If you're getting the guy who hasn't really shown that he's even really that's shown that he's more of a shell of himself than he's anything closer to being what he used to be, then I don't know that it helps much. I mean, they need bodies in there though. Like you lose Rasheed Rice, he'll be back, but you lose him. Watson goes down this week as well. So they need bodies, and I think he's definitely a talented receiver. Like if he can put it together, maybe this is what he needs. Uh, get some juices flowing back. Pause, and then you know re-energize with the team that has a chance to win. I don't understand. Like, you look at Mahomes' numbers and you think this team is like 2-4,
Yeah.
and like the fact that they're 6-0 is absolutely absurd. Like, it just shows how good their defense is. So at this point, you need all the help that you can get on offense. I will say Mahomes has like some of the weirdest interceptions. I don't know why it only happens to him, but I think I've seen more like tipped, just random balls popped in the air interceptions for Mahomes than any other quarterback in the league the last several years. But I think it'll be exciting to see like can Hopkins reinvent himself in a way that Randy Moss did with the Patriots. Like, is that the kind of thing that you're looking at where not to that level,
Right.
obviously, and not saying Hopkins is Randy anything close to who Randy Moss was, um, but he was an All Pro for a while and went to Tennessee where he's just not competitive. And so does this move back to a team that's won the last two Super Bowls and is going for a third and is currently 6-0? Does that kind of recharge your batteries and give you some extra motivation when you go out there every week? And I think it definitely could, and bring talent back out of DeAndre Hopkins. So if you get DeAndre Hopkins of old, then I mean this is a great trade for the Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes is one of two quarterbacks in the last 30 years to throw more interceptions than touchdowns while leading their team to 6-0. The other quarterback, June, your boy Peyton Manning in 2015 when he was in Denver. With that being said, and taking into mind what Kev was just saying, June, which D Hop will we see? Do you expect to see for the remainder of the season?
I think we're going to see DeAndre Hopkins, the DeAndre Hopkins that we know, that we cheered for, that we expected to do good every game. Um, I think he has a lot of left in the tank. Kevin and I spoke this morning in the conversation about what DeAndre Hopkins they would possibly get if if it was going to be the one we're seeing in Tennessee right now, if it's the one that caught 6 touchdowns in 8 games like Kev said last year, or if it's the one that played with a rookie Deshaun Watson in Houston and looked like a Pro Bowler. I think it'll be somewhere in between all of that, but leaning more on the good than the bad. He is older, and there's no, debating that. But my thing about DeAndre Hopkins and what he brings to Kansas City is that he is a true number one wide receiver. And Kansas City hasn't had a true number one wide receiver since Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill had to earn that. Probably after they won the Super Bowl, we started calling Tyreek Hill a number one wide receiver. He was getting wide receiver yards and number one yards before so, but I don't think the league really respected Tyreek Hill as a number one receiver. So they finally have that X guy, 6'2", 6'3", whatever the case is. And the biggest thing for DeAndre Hopkins and Patrick Mahomes' relationship is that much like Travis Kelce, he is going to win his one-on-one. So pick your poison. If you want to leave him one-on-one, good luck. If you don't, you're going to open up now for Kelce, now for young guys like whether it be Juju Smith, Sky Moore, uh, whoever you guys are throwing the ball to. I don't even know who's out there for you guys right now.
No, Gray, Xavier Worthy.
Yeah. I think that DeAndre Hopkins is also going to elevate your offensive play in the red zone. He's immaculate when it comes to close quarters, catching the ball, right? You could contested catching, route running. I mean, that's what you want in a receiver, whether he's 35 or 29. You want a guy who can run routes exceptionally and catch the ball when they're contested. I think he does both of that at an elite level still. It's going to give the rest of the guys a confidence boost in that locker room. I think that they're going to be able to learn from him as a vet, as a wide receiver. And, Kev said it, like, you guys are trying to go for three-peat. We've never seen that done in the NFL. And I do think that we're probably going to see the Chiefs be the first team to do that because your defense is a Super Bowl defense. Your offense, piss poor at this moment. Piss poor. Patrick Mahomes is playing some very below average football so far this season. Keep in mind, work with what you got. He's making it work, but his defense is covering his ass. And that's how complimentary football is supposed to be played. This is not a knock on Patrick Mahomes. We can have a down year. I mean, goddamn, we were the best offense forever. Can we be the best defense now and hold us down for a little bit, especially through injury transitions? I don't think the Chiefs at 100% health are this bad offensively. To finish my point, with DeAndre Hopkins being there, again, he's going to be your number one guy who can win contested catches, run routes, red zone, and third down efficiency is going to go up for Patrick Mahomes. And later in the season, I think that what this does for the team as a whole is say, you know what? We are chasing that third. This was to finish that last point I had. We are chasing a back-to-back-to-back. And it might have looked a little bleak last week, even though you're 6-0. The offense might be sitting in the meeting room like, damn, like we're gonna go get it. We got the confidence to do it, but it just seems a little tough. I think this gives them a little bit of like less pressure on their shoulders, and they're like, all right, you know what? We still are making active moves before the deadline to try to bolster this offensive roster to make sure we could go win that. And it gives those players like that sense of like, all right, yeah, like this is still the goal, and it's still very much right there. I mean, we're talking about an undefeated team at the end of the day, right? How bad could this trade ever be at the end of the day?
Yeah, if you're asking me as a Kansas City fan, I'm hoping that we see the I fear God D Hop. You heard? I fear God.
I don't believe he's going to be breaking anybody's knees on routes, but something in between I fear God and a 2019 D Hop.
Fair. Let's take it back over to LA. We were just there for basketball. Let's do it in football. A wide receiver that was rumored to be heading to Kansas City in Cooper Kupp. That deal did not happen because Kansas City did not want to give up a high draft pick and needed a trade partner willing to eat a large chunk of the player's salary. Didn't happen. Cooper Kupp is still in LA, with LA having a game, if I'm not mistaken, against Minnesota on Thursday night football.
Yeah.
Kev, where should Cooper Kupp land at this point, or what should LA do with him?
I mean, if you're asking me which team, if they think that they're a legitimate contender with Baker Mayfield at quarterback, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just lost Godwin for the season and Mike Evans for how many 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's at least 3 weeks.
Mike Evans will be back, but Godwin was having such a good year that if you can replace him with Cup, I mean, I think you got to look into it. So, I mean, if you're asking me which team should do it, I think I think it sets up perfectly for Tampa Bay to go do that. But um, I don't know. I heard the Eagles wanted him. I don't know how much more help the Eagles feel like they need. Uh, if they get him, that would be nuts. And I don't think it'd be good. Like for some reason, every time the Eagles do this, where they put together this like dream team type squad, it doesn't work out. This would be the second time that they've tried to do it, and it didn't work out the first time. And so far, it's been underwhelming this time. So, uh, I mean, I don't know. Like I think the Bucks is a great fit for him right now. Baker Mayfield's playing good football. Um, I mean, like I said, you just lost your one wide receiver two. So you need somebody who can kind of fill in the gap, especially until Evans is back. And when Evans is back, you kind of don't miss anything from that 1-2 punch in terms of the production that you were getting from Godwin if you can supplement that with Cup. So I think Tampa would be the best fit for him at this point in time. I'm sure there's other places that can use him and would use him well, but for me, just makes sense wise with what just happened this past week. That's the perfect scenario for a team to go get Cooper Cup.
Yeah, I for me, I had one, two, three, four. I had five teams that kind of jumped out to me on first thought. Um, but I want y'all to walk with me real quick for the dream scenario that I would love to see. And again, Cooper Cup will be staying in the NFC, much like as if he went to Tampa Bay. Uh, not only was Cooper Cup getting called and inquired about as far as what they want for him and what the market is for Cooper Cup. I think the Vikings were also calling and regarding Matthew Stafford. Do we find a package where the Vikings can obtain Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup in a package that sends them both to Minnesota, gives Justin Jefferson his QB1 that has won a Super Bowl before, been there with the experience, going to, I understand, an old division rival who I think Matthew Stafford would enjoy playing for at this point in his career with the way that Detroit kind of shipped him off to LA and booed him when he returned. Is there a way that we could find Justin Jefferson, Cooper Cup, and Matthew Stafford at the NFC Championship by the end of this year? That's the fun answer to me. And I don't know what the money looks like. I don't know what the compensation would look like. I know Stafford is not demanding, first round pick. Probably, I hope he's not demanding second round pick. He might. He's a quarterback. He might. He might. But if I'm Minnesota, I'm all in. I'm all in. And I'm not necessarily a fan of them trying to trade Sam Darnold after, a really great start he's been able to put up. But if they feel like they have a shot at a Super Bowl winning quarterback who can make all the throws on the field, and we've seen when he's healthy, we've seen when he's protected, and when he has an elite roster around him, what he can do, I think you jump at that. Another team that I was thinking was the Packers, giving Jordan Love a solidified number one receiver, because right now the Packers, they just make it happen. I mean, they get a ball to everybody, and Jordan Love is not picky by any means. But I think that Jordan Love, eventually, we're going to start to realize that he needs someone he can trust, someone he can go to whenever. And he doesn't have that right now. And so I think Green Bay, sometimes loses games or puts themselves behind in games at points because Jordan Love doesn't necessarily have that, Jordy Nelson. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have that Jordy Nelson, that Devontae Adams. Cooper Cup is your Devontae Adams, is your Jordy Nelson. And if Green Bay can muster up a trade for Cooper Cup, I'm all in on that if I'm Green Bay. That was just my thoughts on Cooper Cup, y'all.
Love it. Let's end the NFL talk by going down to Dallas a week after threatening sports reporters and telling them he's going to take their jobs. Jerry Jones is back on the prowl. This time talking about a player he probably shouldn't be talking about, but explaining himself as far as to why Derrick Henry is not in the blue and silver, allegedly saying well, not allegedly, because it's sports talk show. He's on there. He did it. He said it, saying that Derrick Henry wouldn't have fit in their offensive situation, is the way that he put it, and then kind of backtracked and was like, but the real thing was saving the salary cap. Kev, my question for you is that a direct shot at Mike McCarthy?
I don't know if it's a direct shot at McCarthy. I just think like I mean it might be because if you can't figure out how to get Derrick Henry involved in your offense, then what are you doing? Uh I just think I think Jerry Jones needs to just stay like off the radio and let the people that you pay do their jobs. Like
Yeah.
and that's that. But we've talked about it before on the show. Like the owners getting involved in people's business that they're paying to do these jobs, it just doesn't make sense. Uh, might as well just save the money and do the job yourself. If you're Jerry Jones, like coach the team, call the plays, call defense, sign guys, release them, make roster decisions, because it seems like that's what he wants to do. So, um, yeah, you can't fire me, Jerry. So I'm gonna say what I have to say.
Right.
But
I,
so yeah, I just think let if you're paying somebody to make these decisions and just let them do their job and stop making it harder for them when you're making these comments. So that's my opinion on Jerry.
I I don't think it's a shot at McCarthy. I think Jerry Jones sometimes just says shit and he doesn't understand the magnitude of the ripple effect of his comments sometimes. I don't know how, he's been doing this since the 70s or the 80s or whatever, but whatever. My take on all of this, because Henry's not going to be a Cowboy, they don't have to worry about integrating him to the offense. But Heisman favorite Ashton Jeanty goes on stream this weekend and is asked about, I think, what NFL team he would like to play for or so. Like, and he said, I'd love to play for my hometown Cowboys, man. And I'm just like, man, well, you better figure out a way to change your style because it's kind of similar to Derrick Henry. And I don't know if they're going to be able to fit you in the offense. That's all I got on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. I want to talk about them playing San Francisco. We'll do that next episode.
It's gonna be a good Sunday night game, and I mean, in allusion to that, these aren't the comments you want to be making while you have this very big game to prepare for. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Who does? Maybe Jerry. Let's take it over to the diamond. The World Series stage is set. The Yankees, the Dodgers. Dodgers do have the home field advantage. They are minus 125 favorites in the Friday night game one, 8:05 p.m. Eastern time will be the first pitch. Garrett Cole on the mound for the Yankees. Flaherty on the mound for the Dodgers. Yankees plus 105 underdogs. I'd go to you first, Kev, but I'm not. I'm going to June. June, are you excited for this game one? Are you excited for this World Series? What are you expecting out of the opening game?
Absolutely, man. I mean, Judge and Otani. Let's start there, right? We're getting the two best players in this game facing off in the World Series. I'm gonna appreciate that every time. Both of these teams have bats after bats after bats, right? And I think it's a little shorter on the New York Yankee side. I think that the Dodgers have done a great job over the last 5 or 6 years putting together this roster with superstars and complementary guys and utility guys and pitching. And ultimately, I got the Dodgers in this series. My sports analysis brain has the Dodgers. My heart has the Dodgers because of the Yankees. But all in all, man, game one's going to be fun. And I think game one is going to be crucial. I think the Dodgers have to win game one because, first of all, you want to win on your field. Everybody knows you want to protect it. But I think game ones are such tone setters in championship series that you don't want to leave a bad taste in your mouth going into game two. You don't want to have any lack of confidence going into game two. Like if the Yankees lose game one, it's like, all right, well, we're in LA, I mean, yeah, it was cold, but we'll be back in the Bronx, for game 3 and 4. We could also steal game two. There's a lot of leeway with it when you're putting yourself in that pressure situation of We lost game one. We have to win game two. Then we have to go steal a game on the road. You don't really want to mess with that. So it's going to be a really, really important game on Friday, but also a fun one. The Dodgers are averaging over 6 runs a game. That's the most in the MLB. The Yankees are somewhere in the 4.3 or so runs per game area. Um, but I think that Garrett Cole, what Garrett Cole are we going to get? And that's going to determine a lot about this game because if Garrett Cole comes out and striking guys out here and there to the fifth, sixth inning, we don't know a Dodgers team to not have 5 runs, by the sixth, seventh inning, 4 runs, unless they're going to lose that game. But the trend is that when the Dodgers win, they've got 2, 3, 4 runs in the first 3 innings, and so if Garrett Cole comes out commanding that fastball with velocity and control, it's going to be a tough day for Shohei and those boys. But I don't think that's going to be the case, young man. I think that Shohei is going to show up. I think Mookie Betts is on a tear right now. And who's going to make an impact game one? Finals. World Series MVP, Kike Hernandez. If they don't
Mm.
do it for TV, and Shohei, if he deserves it, great. But Kike Hernandez is going to be the World Series MVP, if not the X factor at the very least. Kev, what do you got on game one and this World Series with your not your home team, but your favorite team here? Both of y'all, hey, congratulations, man. Y'all made it. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's game one. You haven't lost a World Series game yet, so I can't say none of that. You haven't lost. You guys made it. I'll give the congratulations.
We here.
What are we gonna do with it? That's my
We
question.
here. The Dodgers, before you go, Kev, the Dodgers did win 2 out of the 3 regular season matchups, winning both times. Well, all 3 games were in New York, but winning 2 out of 3, as I said. One of them was handily 11-3. The other one was a close 2-1. June was talking Judge Otani, Kev. He mentioned Mookie Betts. You could go Mookie Betts, you can go Jazz, you can go Teoscar, you can go Edmund, and there's a bunch of star-studded matchups. Is this the most star-studded World Series that we've had in the last like half a decade, Kev?
Probably, yeah. Like on top of the fact that it's LA, New York, Dodgers, Yankees, like two of the most storied franchises in the history of the game. I just talked about this with June and Ali the other day. Like, this is what baseball dreamed of. Like a series like this with the players like this, all through each lineup. You have star power. You have guys who uh, are great on the mic. Uh, June mentioned Kike, like the "Are we live right now?" Like,
Right.
so I think this is exactly what baseball needs is a World Series like this, where as cool of as cool that a Subway Series would have been, uh, Dodgers Yankees, like it doesn't get bigger than that.
Right.
Probably the 2 most famous hats in the world in terms of sports hats, like the L.A. Dodgers and the New York Yankees hat. Yankees hat is obviously more famous because it's the Yankees, but uh,
It's because Jay-Z made it famous, like he said.
yeah,
He made it more famous than the Yankee can. But
yeah,
go
but
ahead.
uh, but yeah, no. So I think Game One, Cole pitching on the road is great because he's been much better on the road at night this season. So I think that he's got like a ERA in the 2s on the road compared to in the 4s at home. So having him pitch in Dodger Stadium instead of Yankee Stadium, I think helps. Uh, if we could have Clark Schmidt go game 2, I would probably do that and have Rodon pitch at home because same story with them. Schmidt is much better road on the road. Rodon is much better at home. For whatever reason, I don't know who can pitch better at Yankee Stadium because that is a very hitter friendly park. So if you can pitch well in Yankee Stadium, I'd rather have you pitching in Yankee Stadium. So if I was Boone, I'd have the rotation as Cole, Schmidt, Rodon. We'll see how he throws him out there. Rodon was great last time out. So um, yeah, I'm excited to see it. I think it's going to be a great series. I'm excited for Friday, and looking forward to seeing how this one ends up.
It's exciting. Friday, game one, like I said, 8:05 Eastern Standard Time. in other news, we didn't get a chance. There was so much happening this week with NBA, World Series, the headlines, everything going on. We didn't get a chance to break down any of the NFL games that are coming up this weekend. It is what it is. Definitely check them out. You got Thursday night match with the Vikings and the Rams, like I alluded to. The Eagles are traveling to Cincinnati, and they are 2.5-point underdogs on the road in Cincinnati. You got Ravens, Browns. There's a bunch of games to watch this weekend. Falcons, Bucks should be exciting. Packers, Jags, I don't know about that. But June, you're on your way back to Houston this week. You got any words you wanna talk about? Anything you want to talk about with this matchup coming up?
2 words, first place.
Like that. Chiefs have a divisional game against the Raiders. I know I saw the Jets in here somewhere. They'll be in New England playing the Patriots.
I hate to do it. I gotta bring it back. I just one more time for all the Dolphins fans listening. I mean, get the fuck out of here, out of my DMs, out of anything on social media. Don't ever hit me up about the Colts losing to the Dolphins. No. I'm tired of it.
Oh man. By the way, the Cooper Kupp analysis of as far as why he didn't end up in Kansas City is per Diana Rossini, NFL insider, via Bleacher Report. I want to make sure that I give the correct credit where the credit is due. Champions League did kick off yesterday. A lot of controversy with a new format, but competition is as high as ever. Barca wins today 4-1 against Bayern. Atletico Madrid falls to Lille 3-1. Leverkusen ties with Brest. It's Manchester City takes care of Sparta Prague 5-0. Haaland scores twice, as he should. Champions League in full effect. NBA is here. World Series starts Friday.
What about MLS? We got some guys. We got some guys doing the MLS. What's going on over there?
Yo, very interesting. Paul Pogba announces that he wants to make a move to the MLS and would prefer to go to Miami. Is
it fair to call him a cheater?
I don't know. They lifted his ban. Like, he went through appeals and they lifted it. So like,
okay.
Did you cheat?
I haven't kept up with it. I'm asking. Because I know some people might think I hate soccer. I had that little rant last. Listen, I fuck with soccer. I hate it for certain reasons. I still enjoy watching the sport, but I hate it for certain reasons because they be crying and acting like a bunch of fairies. But I will say the jury is still out on Jameson Williams. I want to know why he was suspended for those PESs and what he took. And was it something by accident or was it something to overperform? I'm going to do my research before I give my comments on that. But 2-game suspension for Lions star wide receiver Jameson Williams.
Speaking of the MLS, a couple weeks ago, I went to the Atlanta United game. As everyone knows, I am now an Atlanta United fan. Now that I reside in the city, they play at Mercedes-Benz Dome. It's super nice, cheapest concessions in all of sports. But hey, I digress. And I said, hey, we lost a match and we could make the playoffs, but everybody got to lose. We got to win out. I don't see it happening. Well, don't look now. But the Atlanta United are in the playoffs. They do have to play the team that we just talked about in Miami. Miami, Atlanta.
Not going to last long.
Round one, best of 3. So I do get a game in Atlanta, regardless. Let's go.
I'm not gonna lie. Soccer playoffs going best of 3 is pretty cool.
First round is best of 3. I think the rest of it's best of 5, maybe.
Like, I would assume, soccer tournament style is always one game.
Yeah. But they're doing best of 3 starting in Miami Friday night. 8:30 p.m. and that's actually Broward County, Fort Lauderdale, to be exact, at the Drive Pink Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, as we cross over this hour 9 mark, this has been your Wednesday night All Things Sports talk show on the All Things Sports Network, brought to you by Small Town Productions. Ticker up top, brought to you by ESPN Bet. If you tapped in on the live, thank you so much, because you could have been anywhere, but you were tapped in with us. And if you're listening after the fact, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. We will see you Sunday for the Sunday Night Football